The oven's preheated. I'm Mario. That's my Croatian co-host, Franco, a.k.a. Papa Fazul.
Papa.
We're the Oven Podcast. Follow us on all socials. Keep sharing the show and spank that subscribe button on YouTube. We teamed up with Underdog Fantasy. If you haven't heard already, we're matching your deposit up to $500. That means a $250 bag of free money headed your way when you sign up. Use promo code OVEN.
Free money. Free money.
Free money. Franco, where are we? What are we doing?
Oh, man, this is going to be a good one tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have Leona Kusa, founder of the Kusa Collective. She's a pioneer in the New York State legacy marijuana market. And we're going to try and break the stigma here tonight because weed is a phenomenal flower. And it's helped each and every one of us sitting at this table. So stay tuned.
Keep it cooking in the oven. The oven. The oven. Yep. The oven. The oven. The oven. Yep. The oven. The oven smells good. The oven.
The oven.
Yep.
So, like, I've been in Nashville before, and for karaoke, like, there have been people that have clapped when I was done. I'm not kidding. For a karaoke singer, I sing well. I would absolutely. Franco's gonna hate that, but I'm all for karaoke.
Wait, Billy put on a beat last time. Let's make him sing at some point. Yeah, a sad country beat.
Oh man!
Listen, I'm here. Listen, I'm here for it.
I didn't prep for this. I didn't prep.
There's no prep. You said you could.
See, but like it's different when there's like the music and everything, and it's loud. You know. I'm feeling a little nasally right now.
We'll come back to it. By the end of today, we'll get you to sing it.
I sure hope so.
And you said he hated it.
He does.
No, it's just, I'd rather like go up there and sing I Try by Macy Gray rather than listen.
That is painful to listen to him sing that.
No, I don't know. Do you want
I
to go?
try to say goodbye and I choke.
He sounds just like her. That's the problem.
I stumble.
That's pretty good.
Though I try to hide it. My world crumbles when you are not near. Are we rolling? We're rolling,
Oh,
baby.
wait a minute, yeah.
We're rolling.
We're good.
Right into it.
Leona,
Yeah,
thank you for
yeah.
having us here. This place is beautiful.
Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. So it was funny. The first time I came here was a couple weeks ago, and I was getting tattooed down the road by Brian Lee, the GOAT out of Iron Age Tattoo.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, what are you doing after this?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm going to this dinner at the Kusa Collective." And he's like, "Get the hell out of here." He's like, "I grew up at the Kusa Collective." I'm like, "What?" Like, it's so. I feel like everyone in this world is so like closely connected, or like one person disconnected. Like
Yeah.
It really is crazy. And he did the work on your arm.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, my glove. Everybody's got the sleeve. I got the glove.
She got the glove.
Yeah. Yeah, but Brian Lee, we went to high school together. So he hooks me up. A lot of this happened on a cancel day because
The cancel days are the best days.
I got a little arm, so he's able to like squeeze me in and like get things done. So yeah, we did this. Honestly, the best artist like I know. But like I've watched him. Like this one was like I feel like he was like 18 when he did it. We were both like maybe he couldn't have been 18. He must have been like around like 20, but it was like very early in his career.
Yep.
And then now I have all of like the other ones. But yeah, Brian Lee, this whole area is kind of like I don't know. I feel like sometimes I'm like amongst the greats, like all of like our like younger generation, like small business, like leaders. So I feel like there's a lot of like our kind of generation that are doing like really awesome things. And Brian Lee, I admire because to watch somebody that I know like pretty well to like be just thriving the way he is just, I don't know, really inspirational.
And it's like so cool to see because he was always great.
Yeah.
But like in the tattoo world, you got to do your time in order to get recognized. And, he's going on year 10 or year 8 rather.
Yeah.
And just to see the skill, I mean, he absolutely killed your arm. Like absolutely knocked that out of the park.
I guess I shouldn't ask you to show your legs to everybody.
I can't. I
Sure.
I've seen it enough. The last how many months I have to look at his leg. Oh, I'm peeling. Oh, it's itchy. Oh,
dude, that's it.
Yeah.
I came straight from the knee.
Can you check my ankle? I don't think I reached down there and got the cream.
He came right from a whole knee appointment and sat for a dinner. And I don't even know. I'm like borderline passing out after I get tattoos. John has to like wash my arm for me. I can't look at my own arm. I'm like, yeah.
I can't lie. I was sitting here. I was sweating when I was eating there. It was like lava was just pouring from my knee down to my foot.
For like hours, he sat here directly after a tattoo appointment.
I do feel for him though, because obviously all of that, swelling and blood kind of just starts hanging down the leg, and it's painful.
But at least we get to sit here. We get to enjoy our smoke. They had a great. Who was playing. Someone was playing music that night.
Oh, here that was probably Sam Garland. He's
Yeah.
from Long Beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I
Yeah,
love
the
it. I
greats.
love it. It's all a little circle over here.
You guys are gonna have me and Franco on karaoke here soon?
Yeah, well, it sounds like we're gonna have to because your sad country night music song.
Well, we make a good team. He'll build them up. I'll knock them down. That's it. So,
Okay,
Leona,
well, good.
tell us everything we need to know about the Kusa Collective.
Well,
Where to start?
Okay, so it's my husband and I. We are a little power team. I always say that I'm the brains, he's the arms and the legs. Really essential piece. We need each other. One's running. You need them both.
Yep.
But well, I guess where should we start? I guess we should probably start how John and I met.
Let's do it.
Which that's a fun story.
Let's do it.
Because I guess so. I had my little people that I was moving to, and John was my plug at the time. And it was great because he always knew the best. Like we would smoke. He'd tell me the flavor profile of this. The smoke is this. This one's a little bit more heady. He would like kind of just run me through. He was the one who really taught me about like different strains. One of the first things he blessed me with was Doja's RS11.
Okay.
And I always say that got me pregnant because after a couple months of smoking and moving and making kind of money together, I got pregnant.
Okay.
So now we're celebrating 3 years of marriage.
I love it.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
3 years of marriage, and it's coming up next week, right? You said?
Yeah, next week is our 3-year wedding
I love
anniversary. Damn. But so we kind of from the beginning, we both like really into weed. Me personally, it's totally saved my life. But the Kusa Collective became this collective of what New York cannabis culture really is. So like we do events, we've done stories on cultivators, we've done photography on cultivators. We now do grow classes because a lot of it is like we want to like arm the public with the knowledge to grow.
Yep.
So that's something that's really important to kind of us to be able, especially when it comes to cannabis. Like one thing that we always talk about is that the first way to make it less scary is when you can familiarize yourself with it. And so I'm like tripping over my words.
We fear the unknown.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you had a backyard garden with some tomatoes, some squash, some lettuce, and a cannabis plant, you would just like naturally just know that it's a plant. And being around it and understanding that it's just a plant is really a mind easer for a lot of people. So if now everybody, and it's legal in New York to grow up to 6 plants. I don't think it like at the same time. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think it's like 3 at one time. One's in a mature state, one's in an infancy state.
I feel like that's always changing too.
Yeah, who knows?
There's
like
always
tomorrow.
something. Yeah.
Tomorrow you can have a teenage plant, but that's it. Like,
Yeah, prove it.
but like, who's gonna raid your house for like 7 plants?
You gotta have like the birth certificate ready.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, right. Like you don't know how. Well, I guess they're trying to say it's like you can have up to like 3 pounds. What is that the legal limit? Who knows? Who the fuck knows anymore?
I think the legal limit, like to travel with, is like 3 ounces.
Right. Well, you're allowed to grow up to something.
Yeah, 6 plants. I want to say like. I live with my aunt, so she has a different last name. So technically, we can grow 12 plants.
Is there a height rule? Like, can't be taller than 6 foot?
I don't know, man. I don't think there's any height rule.
No.
My neighbors are growing a good amount of plants, and they are huge.
That's great.
Huge.
That's great, and that's what people should do because then it also sets a higher standard, though. Higher standard. Where if I borrow that?
Yeah,
that was punny.
So you think people should be growing their own weed?
Absolutely, it's legal, and you should, and it also just helps the general public understand that what we're talking about here is a measly little plant. It's not like this big, dangerous, slanging, coke dealing. No, it's not. It's just this little measly plant in your backyard.
I just had a random thought.
Here we go.
A random
Let's
idea.
go.
Is there, because listen, when it comes to cannabis, I text Franco. He's
your guy.
He's my knowledge.
Uh-huh.
Is there a brand called Hydrangea? When you said plant, and I was thinking high, and this is a cigar. This is not even weed right now, but
that's gonna be
Hydrangea.
His brand. That's gonna be.
You
his
better
brand.
white label that for me.
Yeah,
bro.
that's your white label,
I'll
right?
white
sir?
label the hell out of that
Yeah.
for you. Hydrangea.
You like that?
Hydrangea. You saw it here first. Fuck you guys.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, don't take it. All right. That's under Uncle Nino's copyright right there. But seriously, the comfortability is humongous in this world.
Yeah.
Because it had that awful stigma for so long that it was a drug. And why was it a drug? Because the federal government couldn't tax it. So, they impose all these thoughts on it and they make it sound. I just don't understand how we can drink an endless amount of beer, but we can't promote anything weed-wise.
Oh, don't even get me started on that conversation. And the thing is, actually, so I always want to get started and then I retract, because then we're falling into the same kind of conversation that everyone, like, you can't say something's good while pointing to something else is bad. So like, I'm not going to convince a world of public people that like the thing you guys all do is bad. So therefore you should do what I do.
Yep.
So I try to like kind of stay away from like I don't drink. I haven't drank in what, like 6-7 years.
Okay.
Makes me terribly sick. So I smoke mad weed and like, but if it's somebody's like consumption of choice, I'm not going to like hate on it because that's what I'm used to. Like, this is my consumption of choice.
Yep.
Like, don't hate on that just because, but you drink. The problem is that you can actually die of a withdrawal of alcohol.
Yes.
Like that and benzos are the
Yep.
only two things you can actually really die from. And that's actually dangerous. Like I can
Significantly
smoke,
dangerous.
I can smoke all the weed I can find on Long Island today. And I'll probably be sleeping for a while.
Just go to bed.
Yeah.
You watch a good movie. I guess, well, you wouldn't watch a good movie.
No, not me.
I had a bunch of movie questions ready for her tonight. And she goes, by the way, I didn't see like 7 of those 8.
I have like never seen, like the only movies I've like ever seen is like Sausage Party, like the Lizzie McGuire movie.
Wow.
2 great movies. If you don't like the Lizzie McGuire movie, you get the fuck out.
I mean, come on, that like shaped me as a human. What was that? The Elle Woods movie, Legally Blonde, shaped me as a person.
I think I've only seen Legally Blonde. I don't think I've seen the other 2.
Yeah, I can't imagine you'd see the Lizzie McGuire movie.
I've seen.
I'm surprised to hear you.
Yeah.
Franco had the poster in his
But
room.
you also like SpongeBob, so like it kind of
Love
seems,
SpongeBob.
yeah, right.
Well, everyone loves SpongeBob.
Yeah, that's another. Like, you can't not like SpongeBob.
John doesn't like SpongeBob.
John's over there shaking
He's
his
too old for
head.
SpongeBob. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get the like following that we had.
Well, he was 20 when SpongeBob came out.
Yeah, he doesn't think it's
That's
cool.
fucked
You old.
So, you said John, would give you, back in the day, he would give you like the strain information and stuff like that. And now you guys have a whole, hyperlink on your website dedicated to that.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it? Every strain in New York?
Not everyone.
Well,
That's,
yeah, like
that's
close.
hard. We have a lot. We have a lot of like networks. We have a lot of like really great like cultivator friends like within New York. Honestly, like New York, everyone always thinks that like Cali's like where it's at for weed. New York just had to be more underground about it for the last 30 years.
Exactly.
Like police here were way more willing to like arrest than California was. So, but it's been here. I've written those stories. I've written a lot of these stories. So like, yeah, those strains like have been like a culmination of getting to know like growers, working with growers, whether, like I've done a lot of their grows. But I think it's really important, like of the buying process. So right now everyone's going to dispensaries and looking at like highest THC percent. And that's bullshit.
Thank you for bringing this up, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. So that's bullshit. The way, because THC percent is, regardless of what you think, it's proven that it will degrade over time. So
Okay.
even if the lab does it 100% correct, if it sits on a shelf for like 6 months, if it was 18% THC, it's not going to be by the time you consume it. So that's not real. So the best way is like the same way that you drink your wine. When you drink your wine, you're like, I want a Bordeaux. I want a more body flavor with a little bit of a bitter note. And like, that's exactly what weed should be like. Weed is a luxury product.
Yep.
It's not some, and it's a luxury product the same way alcohol is, that like you could get it at a, cheap store, like a bodega, like a cheap liquor store, like your wine shop, or you can walk into like a fancy, wine studio bar. I don't know.
Yeah, like a little wine cellar. You get to pick out some aged stuff. No,
Yeah.
that really is what it is.
As a novice cannabis enthusiast,
Yeah.
I think it really a big part of that in the education of the consumer is going to fall on the bud tenders.
Yeah.
Kind of like a good bartender or a good server can get you onto a new drink. Like for me, the best example of that is I was at Insignia. I was a big Cabernet guy, and the server was like, "Listen, you're ordering this, you're ordering that. Cabernet has a little bit more bite. Malbec would go great with this." Since
Absolutely.
then, when I'm eating dinner, it's Malbec.
Yeah.
And like cannabis could be the same way.
Absolutely. And with that, if he was not a sommelier, he probably was giving you a sommelier experience. And that's like what I classify John. John is like the sommelier of sommeliers. But the thing is, what's different about cannabis is that the best sommelier experience would be like understanding how it's grown, understanding how it's consumed, understanding why you consume it. Cannabis is a very intimate product. And like people don't realize this. Like nobody who smokes weed is normal. So like, you don't. You're just like in some way there's something a little, but that's okay because we're all weird in our own way.
Yep.
And so you need to understand. So, and this is why I always talk about THC %, because you need to know why that person is smoking. Like, is it to get fucked up? That's great. Is it to unwind? Is it to like, do a craft? It could be whatever. But there needs like, you need to understand when selling a product or sommeliering the bud, you should understand what it is that they are using it for, what they like, so like the notes and whatever, and like how they plan to. So like if they're gonna roll it up, if they're gonna put it in like a blunt, if put it in a glass piece, but like that's a lot of, and like how it was grown is really important, because like sometimes I go into dispensaries and it's fine, but like people should know when they say living soil what living soil is. Like it's not like, it should not, like we need to understand there needs to be a little bit more education in that bud tender like field, and it's just getting to know your product more. And that was always kind of our goal at Kusa Collective. Like that was really like to help people understand what it is that's in front of them, because we know a lot of old people. Like I don't mean to like call out the old people, but like they are, maybe they used to smoke back in the day, now they know it's legal. So they're like, let me go try something, but like, I don't know. And it's tough when you go to like somewhere who they don't know what you're like getting recommended. That's how you get bad experiences, when you get recommended things that wasn't for what you really needed. So I don't know. I guess just it helps the
Destigmatization.
There you go.
He said it.
He's usually the one fumbling on the way.
Hey.
No, I feel like weed and wine is very much alike in the sense that like, the terpenes are what you're going to ultimately feel, from the smoke. And, the terpenes, let's say in the wine is what makes it the Bordeaux, or, I'm not much of a wine guy,
also has terpenes. Wine literally has terpenes. It's the oak, the oak, well, the flavor notes, from the grape and the whatever is I'm dating myself because now I used to drink a lot of wine. This is why I can't anymore. But fuck liver. That's what I mean. Dangerous. This never did me dirty.
It never, and it never will. Absolutely never will.
No, it didn't. I've smoked some shit. Let me tell you. I've smoked it all.
What would be your favorite strain to smoke?
Okay, there's one grower. He grows a lemon ace, and it is honestly one of my favorite ones. And I can't even try to act like I don't. It's grown. What should I say? It's grown by Foo's Flower.
Okay, shout out.
Yeah, shout out. I guess. Yeah,
I'm a huge lemon terp guy.
Oh, me too.
That's my favorite terp.
This one is my favorite. I have literally gone to the city to try to get an eighth of this one just for myself, like just because I really, really like this one.
That's some special stuff. My favorite, like whenever like anyone asks me, I always like revert back to like super lemon.
Oh yeah. It's like, similar. It's similar. Mm-hmm.
Gets me going a little bit.
Is it as good as Platinum Kush?
I knew you were gonna go with Platinum Kush. I think that might be the only strain he knows.
I knew that would get you guys.
Great.
Platinum Kush. So
good.
what's it like being on, the hospitality side of things? Like, have you always been on the hospitality side of things?
Kind of, sort of. So I've lived a lot of lives, I guess. Well, I guess we should start there.
I got it. We got to hear this.
This is, I guess, the kind of.
We got to go down this rabbit hole, please.
Yeah, rabbit hole. So around, especially this building around here, everyone kind of remembers me as this, which I'm glad that this is what I'm remembered by. But I used to professionally race cars. So that's like, and when I was younger, the only time I've ever like gotten in trouble with cops were always for street racing. And I had a little Honda. We were like the import loud kids.
Okay.
And,
I was gonna ask what kind of car.
But on the side, that was just like street shit. But with my dad, I professionally raced. Like I started at go-karts. I was selected for like a top 50 program. Went up to like open wheel cars. Eventually was in a Mazda Miata, Porsche GT3. So like if you want to learn how to drive the right way, I'll let you know. But
just like that.
Dude, after driving home from Connecticut with this guy this weekend, please, he needs all the lessons.
Oh no.
I was cruising.
My God.
I was cruising. I had a little Honda. My first car was a little Honda. I had a Honda Accord. It was a coupe, and it had a little carbon fiber racing hood on the front of it.
Oh my God, cute.
It was unbelievable. My mom was so mad at me when that's what the car that I chose.
Oh, my dad helped me build mine. But then, okay, so one thing I find really funny is that we put an exhaust system in it. So this thing was fucking loud. So now I laugh because everyone's got these like electric vehicles. And I'm like, oh my God, like when we were children, we liked our cars loud.
That muscle. The muscle in that Honda.
Yeah, you could like literally feel me come like, oh my God, that sounds terrible. Feel me coming from down the block. Yikes.
So how long did you do the racing for?
So that was really where everyone around here, I was on a team. I was on sponsored teams. That's really where the street shit was just me as a hooligan kid. But
you had to be.
I started going to I was racing every single weekend. I ended up doing like a lot of just like press stuff. So then I was also always 5'10" at 12 years old. So imagine a sixth grader who's 5'10". Yeah, that was
freak.
Yeah, exactly. And then I turned around and saw all those kids and I was like, hey, remember me? Fuck you guys. So, because then I ended up, because being 5'10" and weird, I ended up modeling full time and in the city. And so I was like 16 and I had like an agreement with the school. Like as long as I like kind of got the tests done, I wouldn't fail school for not being there. So
I wish I had a deal like
what
that.
the fuck?
I mean,
that's the best deal you could literally put together.
Well, and I was like working, like I was working.
Yeah,
like
so
there was not that was like sometimes I'm like shit. Like I was always kind of grinding. I always wanted my own things. I've been on my own a long time, so like that was kind of it was like, oh, you want to strip? Well, you could model. And
Franco, you can't do either.
Shut up, dude.
Okay,
Yes,
it's funny because when your last video, you were talking about Avril Lavigne, and I was like, never mind, I'm not going to respond because I actually walked in one of her shows.
Wow.
And the girl right behind me was original Kylie Jenner. So if you look at this video,
Wait, what do you mean original Kylie Jenner?
like Kylie Jenner as a person.
Wow. do you have this picture?
Oh yeah, you could look it on YouTube. It's like,
Okay.
if you look
What
like
do you mean as a person?
Before all the stuff, before all the schmutz.
before the enhancements.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's funny though, because what I like about this video is I sound like such a dick. I look exactly the same. This was like 14 years ago. Like I look exactly the same and she looks like a totally different person.
I can't wait to see this. I'm so interested.
Oh my God. I'm just like, so
No,
yeah,
it's awesome.
she walks like right behind me. So like, yeah, like this is how I made my money like growing up. And then I did. And then I got into drugs and so like real drugs, like, and so I also worked in fashion. I've been in product development. I finished college. I worked for, I don't even want to really talk about them, like, but I've worked for like some of the biggest like fashion corporations there are in product development.
Nice.
I was doing all the drugs, and cannabis really saved my life, honestly. Like I actually, I guess during this little phase, I also went into pageantry. So I ran for Miss New York USA a couple times.
No big deal.
I was a finalist each time, but every time I finished, I got Miss Congeniality 3 times, which I like to tell this because Miss Congeniality is the competition votes who is the most likely out of their competition to support one another. And like 3 times in a row, I got that. So that's like
Wow.
that's not judges, that's like people.
Yeah.
Because like I've always just kind of been like I'm about the grind. So, and pageantry taught me something else too, because without it is like, you can't be somebody else. Like you could like, I can sit, I'll use myself. Like I can sit here on Instagram, for example, and just like look at someone else and be like, oh my God, she's so pretty. Oh, she's so this. But like, no matter what I do, I can't be that. I can only be this. So how do I get this to that level? So that's what that really taught me.
Yeah, for
And like,
sure.
so, and so then that's something like I take all the time. So then whatever, I fell into real drugs and then weed really saved me. And now it's like, my point that I brought that up is that the last year, I love to talk about this. And John's like, shut up. Last year I had wrote a letter to MedMen, like, hey, like you should sponsor me for this. I do well. And under the guise of cannabis could save like the opioid epidemic. Like we've I've lost a lot of friends to like overdoses. Like weed could really be the solve to that. Like to people not getting like hurt drinking.
With that being said, what do you have to say to the people who say that cannabis is a gateway drug?
That's whack. That is so whack. I think people who want to get fucked up are going to get fucked up.
Regardless.
Regardless. If it doesn't matter what it is. They'll go snort a Sharpie. Like, it doesn't matter. What I have found in my professional and personal and all experience is that everybody who smokes cannabis has an intention. Like, and sometimes the intention is to get fucked up, but it's probably to not get as fucked up as they used to because they're turning away from alcohol or something else. But otherwise, it's usually people who want to feel more inwards, who want to like maybe solve their own problems a little, who are a little bit maybe want to be more present. But no, I don't think it's like, because you don't get the same. And it's funny because the gateway conversation like teaches me that like people don't necessarily understand what it does. And it's the problem of like the Nixon era, really. But like, you know, that like that whole like reefer madness is like people think that it just like makes you, because most people like gateway to like your fucking couch, like
literally
gateway to the fridge, like,
that's the only gateway you're going to.
Yeah, right. Like gateway to like literally fucking sleep. Like, so I don't know any stoners who like I'm going to choose violence today. Like, that's weird. Like, can you sit down? Like,
right. Yeah. Can you just,
can you chill?
Can you take another hit, dude? Like, come
Soak
on.
this.
All right. I'm calm.
Yeah. So
do you find it, so you were continuing though. So when did you exactly get into, into weed? Like into the marijuana market?
Marijuana market.
Yep.
Well,
I mean, you're somewhat of like a pioneer in this market.
Thank you.
I really want you to give me the story.
I appreciate that.
I'm super, super interested in it.
Well, I've actually been in this kind of a long time. I used to have a jewelry company, and I used to sell it at like various weed events like 9 years ago. So I know like a lot of the city people that way. So I learned it, and that was like when I was a little bit younger. 9 years ago, I was a little bit younger. I was like, oh, it's still not legal yet, but it was like starting, like CBD was starting to be like something.
I was gonna say CBD. That's like the CBD years.
But I've been smoking weed since like, I actually kind of started later. I think I was 21 when I started smoking weed. No, I started at 17. But I didn't start like smoking every day until I was 21. And then I have never stopped since.
Never looked back.
Literally have never. I don't think I've taken a literal fucking tea break since I was 21.
I used to like have to for like random drug tests, and then I just got to the point where I would tell my boss like I'm not taking the drug test.
I like didn't do the job. I like literally was like, oh, sorry, no. And then I changed my whole life so that I could smoke weed every day.
That's
literally like it sounds so like my mom. This is where my mom thinks I'm a drug addict, because I was like, no. I changed my whole life so that I could smoke weed. And like, but it's doing a lot better because I'm not doing a shit ton of Adderall, and I was 90 fucking pounds like I was. God, Adderall is a terrible, terrible thing. And it was prescribed to me. So that's like really kind of, and like,
that's what makes it even worse.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember going in to the doc, I had like it ready. Like it was somebody I knew was like, go to this doctor. And I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, I had a whole thing ready. Like I'm in fashion. Like, I really like, I'm having a hard time. And he was like, you want Adderall? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, all right, 20 milligrams good? And I was like, yeah. Delivered to your office fine? Yeah. Okay, great. It's $15 a month. Like, here you go. And I was like,
Insane.
Oh shit, ruined my life.
It's crazy. It's crazy that's the stuff that's being prescribed.
They give that to children. I don't know that for a fact, but like I know that children get a variance of Adderall.
Everyone has a form of ADHD. Like if you don't as a kid, you're not a fucking kid.
Yeah, they're quick to throw the easy fix at you instead of teaching coping techniques.
You know what? I'm gonna get shit for this, and I kind of don't care because it's just who I am as a person. A big part of this is the phone, and like sound like such a boomer when I say that, but our brains are not supposed to move like this at a mile a minute, non-fucking stop all goddamn day. That's like we're supposed to like look a butterfly. Oh, it's nice out today. like we're supposed to like you know, like we don't do that anymore.
Are we supposed to? Like, oh,
It's part of the mindfulness.
Yeah, right.
You're
Yep.
supposed to be present in the moment, taking your scenery. You got to realize, like, when we were hunter gatherers, if you weren't aware of your surroundings,
Fucked.
you were dying soon.
Chomp chomp.
Yeah, So now instead of taking in the world around you, you're right here in the palm. Some people can't even sit in silence. They either have to have music playing, have the TV going in the background.
Yeah.
Like that's a problem.
Yeah.
Some people don't know how to deal with boredom.
Yeah.
Boredom is associated with unproductiveness, whereas boredom could be a time to self-reflect,
Oh,
to
interesting.
plan,
to journal.
to journal.
I think boredom actually like sprouts creativity.
Absolutely.
Because you like, you know what?
It
I got
should.
nothing to do. I'm gonna go sit there and touch that corner for a little bit.
Well,
And then maybe you're like next you're a carpenter.
100%. We
I was like, where is she going?
I'm looking at the molding of like the wall, and I'm like, oh, you know, that little corner. Like my son, I have a 3-year-old. He would sit there and just be like, oh, this thing's kind of fucking loose. You know, let him sit there and like play
Yeah.
with it.
right.
Like let him figure it out.
For himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just had Dr. Natanya Wachtel on, and being overwhelmed or overstimulated or constantly on the go, it inhibits your creativity.
Yeah.
You need that time to decompress, to relax.
Yeah.
And then once your body can calm down and think that it's okay, now it allows you to think freely, to come up with new ideas, because it's not focused on the problem or issue at hand at all times.
It's a distraction.
Yeah.
Our events, we don't do this on purpose, but we notice that most people are just not on their phones. Like it sucks because we never get content, but we but at the same time, like we walk around and people are like, hey, how are you? Oh, remember that thing that you told me last week? Like people like are actually, and like they're more likely because we have like tables and like people will sit with one another. Oh, it's like, is this seat taken? And I've been quoted once for, out of all the dumb shit I say, I'm so glad that this is the one thing that was quoted in a magazine once. But it was that if you had asked me back in my pageant days, like the cure to world peace, I would have told you cannabis. Because we've literally seen it firsthand. Like people like all sizes, genders, colors, like people who would normally be like, I don't know, fighting outside. This is Long Island. Everyone's fighting at gas stations. But like, honestly, like people are literally like, we've literally never ever had an aggressive situation. Like people are really like, oh, can I get that for you? Oh, excuse me. Oh, like what are you smoking on? Like people are genuinely peaceful with one another, and that's not something you get with like, not, again, I keep saying I'm not going to shit on alcohol, but you don't necessarily get that with alcohol. And I've said this to like government officials, and like when we tried to get everyone to opt in, like that's the other problem with Long Island, they just like don't want to opt in.
Just nuts.
And
Eventually.
crazy eventually, one day, someday. But they were like, what we're gonna need more like police training on how to deal with this. And I'm like, no,
No,
you're
you're
gonna
not.
deal with people going home. You're gonna deal with people like going to sleep. Like half, and like, okay, I think of like the West End of Long Beach. Okay, you know the West End.
Yep.
I partied. I know that like on average on like a busy weekend, there's got to be at least 5 fights in the middle of the street, at least, right? Like
Those cops on bicycles.
Oh, they used to, the
yeah,
guy- the
just
guys on
keeping
the
the peace,
The
right?
guys on the bikes used to get me all the time.
But they're always breaking up fights, right? Like just because like it's an aggressor.
Mhm.
Like where if half of those people, the ones you saw, smoked a little weed before they interacted with the next whoever it was, I would literally bet you like a ton of my money, which is not much right now, but we poor. But I would bet you a lot of money that like police training would go down like in half.
There's no reason to fight. It's like I feel like it just brings everyone together, and that's what's so awesome about like this space.
Yeah.
Like every time we've been here, it's been great, and
Thank
and this is new, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, we've been doing events for like 3.5 years.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
were almost 4, I guess. We were doing it every single week on a Wednesday. We did a lot. That we did for 3.5 years consistently. Then we did a couple dinner events. And now we're just kind of keeping the events going. So like now we're doing like the growing classes, which are very important, like to teach people how to like start their indoor grows or outdoor grows, whatever. Right now we're doing like propagation, clones, and seeds. But then we have like our elevated happy hour, which is what we're known for, the supper club. So we're always kind of like doing events.
A little bit of everything. Yoga classes.
Yeah, we have yoga. Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot about her.
I'd be a lot better at yoga than growing. That's for sure.
No, everybody can do it. Everybody can do it. Yeah, honestly, I've like killed a lot of plants.
I could
in
touch my
lifetime.
toes.
If we could get that on camera
Franco
right now,
can. I
yes,
know
I
Franco
absolutely can. If we can get that on camera, stand up and touch your toes.
Well, he already owes us a song.
Oh, he does. I started this with a song.
Oh yeah, he kind of did like a 10-second.
Little rendition. No big deal.
Maybe I'll break it out at the end. I don't know. But before we get there, let everyone know where they can find you. Where's the best place to find Kusa Collective?
You can find us on Instagram at Kusa Collective. So it's Kusa Collective with the C. You have to type us totally out because Instagram hates us.
Instagram's like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I need you to tell us about the ghost that you're talking about in this
Oh, okay. Well, this place is definitely haunted.
space. It's Halloween time.
Yeah, it's
Halloween.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I need these stories. I hate these stories, but I need them.
Okay, so all of the furniture you were sitting on.
You see him already?
It is from like estates. So it is a totally sustainable place. But so a lot of these came from estates that maybe like an elder person passed, or like a lot of them were just moving. A lot of them were foreclosures. So it's from estate sales. So we got them from like really awesome places. But they all have this like energy. And I swear when I put them in here, like things will happen. The lights will just kind of go off. And it'll be like when we're having like conversations and stuff. Like we'll have our own like
If a light was to go off right now, that would be like really something.
Whoa. So these all
Whoa.
came from other places to Kusa.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I thought ghosts were tied to a location. I thought demons could travel.
Well,
Stop, bro.
That's what I heard.
Well, no. So actually, I've made up like my own religion. I've like made it up. Bear with me here. It's
No,
like
please continue.
so it's very much. I mean, like everyone's like, oh, it kind of sounds like, and everybody has something different. So I'm like, okay, great. It's like a combination of everything. But so like I think that like pieces specifically, like something like this, like is a dinner table, like. Which was probably like it came with chairs. It's not these chairs, but other chairs. And they like life happened here, you know? So like
Or death.
We don't know. And that's why you can't be mean to it because it'll slap you in the ass.
I've been sweating on it. That's about it.
No, that's fine. That's what it's for. No, but like so and especially like things like this, it's like hardwood. Wood is technically living. Like because it's an element in its earthly nature. Like we could get real deep in it if you wanted, but this is part of my like spirituality. Like everything is really kind of alive. That's why you have to be nice to it. If everybody lived like that, we'd probably live in a little bit more of a peaceful place.
I absolutely agree.
Like Toy Story. You know the movie Toy Story? That like fucked with me as a kid. I remember being a small, I mean, and I show it to my son and for the exact same reason, to fuck him up the same way. And it's because I then was convinced that all of my toys were real. So when I then was like, oh, I got to be kind of nice to them. Like I can't like just like fuck them around. And I swear that taught me to be like, I swear Disney did it on purpose because now I'm a very empathetic person. And like,
That's a good thing.
yeah, right. Well, but Toy Story did it. I blame Toy Story.
I was about to ask you about so many other movies, and you went off on Toy Story.
Sausage Party, Toy Story.
I told you gotta watch. I told you she has to watch Wreck-It Ralph. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's on the
Yeah.
list. Yeah.
Hurry up and watch that. Grow up, Peter Pan.
No.
Wait, so
No.
have you seen a ghost in here?
No, I don't think. No, not yet. Hopefully, I don't want to see it, but I know they're
Yeah,
here.
I wouldn't want
Yeah.
to see it either.
Yeah, they know I don't want to see it, but I know they're here. I don't know how to explain it, and everyone's gonna think I'm nuts regardless. But they've always talked to me through the lights.
Okay.
So this is
That might just be PSEG, but I don't know.
well, yeah.
I'm gonna pivot from the ghost before I ask you the random stuff that we brought for the mini
Yeah.
for the mini episode over here. Do you have any advice for newcomers that are trying to get involved in the industry?
Don't.
Why?
Oh, geez. Oh, I'm the wrong person to ask for that. Well,
That's honestly
okay.
such a good answer. Don't.
Just and not for like not even selfish reasons, like literally for because I care about your sanity. But like, you know, I know there's just a lot of work to be done. So like if you're somebody with like political ties, then yeah, great. But like the industry is just kind of okay. Right now, I feel like there's a lot of work to be done because New York specifically has not really catered towards this, and not even New York like Office of Cannabis Management, like all as a state, like no one cares about small businesses anymore.
Mhm.
So like
That's an absolute fact.
like nobody, and like honestly, like to not to divot, but like even sometimes like people feel more comfortable giving their money to like an Amazon or a Target than they do like they feel weird like, oh, I gotta like go talk to somebody, and like. Yeah, like you shouldn't want to give your money to Amazon, but like, I don't know how I got here.
Why shouldn't they get in the industry?
But like, so New York cannabis it's really expensive, and like there's so much money that needs to happen in it that for an industry that's so like meek right now, I shouldn't say this out loud, but like I see the people who are doing it and you think like they're like, oh, you got to be doing it. And everyone has like the same stories. And like the common story is that like it is like the government still doesn't see cannabis as it's still a criminalized product. So actually, I don't know. I was told not to talk about this yet, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. I actually think New York is a little bit anti-consumption. They're all about like, they're like, all right, fine, we'll get taxed on it. But like, I don't think they care that people actually want to smoke it, because that's what we're all about. Like we're like, we care about the experience that comes with it, because telling people to like go smoke at home, it is also this a contradictory to like, if you smoke at home, you got a problem.
Right. So, hit that right on the head.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
So, okay, if I can't smoke at home, so if I shouldn't smoke at home, I should go somewhere. But New York doesn't want that. And they don't want you smoking on the street either, because even though it's legal, it like smells. So like, we're always like, okay, so like, where does the consumption part come in? And
yeah, and when?
If someone has to buy a product and then go somewhere else to consume it, they're going to smoke it in between. So if you don't want them to do that, you should be able to smoke it somewhere you can consume it. And New York just hasn't been fair about that. And they don't really want it. So we like, that's just like, I don't know. We sit here all the time, kind of like what, like you want people to smoke at home, but it's also a problem if you do that. But also you want to destigmatize, but you also don't want to add, I don't know.
They are they've been contradictory for what, 4 or 5 years now about it?
About everything.
Right. It's just, it's like one thing comes out and then there's another, loophole to jump through. There's another, it's
just been a never ending gray area. That's how I feel about it.
Well, my beef is that if cannabis is important, then like we need to promote cannabis. And they're not. It's everybody's hush hush about events. Everybody's hush hush about like, and that's if you don't want people to smoke outside, you should be able to smoke somewhere.
Yeah. Like designated smoking areas that would actually be a lot of fun.
Tell me about it.
It'd be a lot of fun. It would be super safe.
Well, yeah. And like, I mean, we've been doing it for 4 years. We have never had a situation. Like we have never had like somebody get injured. We've never had a fight. We've never like ghosts. We like, and like it's everyone leaves by 10. They go home and they go to sleep.
Yeah, they get a good night. They get a good night's sleep.
Yeah,
they wake up in the morning. They feel good. They get a nice breakfast. Do it all over again.
They smoke. They eat. They like sit there and get all like, wow, that was great. And they go home. They don't fight. They don't like cause wrecks. And it's funny because like even like, okay, if you're like, oh, like DUI, like they all like if someone smokes and they drive, they're going to like wait for a stop sign for a long time. Like, but like, I don't know. I hear stories every day of people driving through fucking storefronts. So
that was nuts. That was honestly.
I'm not going to comment on how good of a cannabis driver I am.
Yeah, maybe not. Like, yeah, that's what I mean. That's why, like, we encourage Ubers.
I'm going to hurt the cause.
The first time that we got him high, we were smoking in my car. I wasn't even driving, and he looks out the side window and he looks at me. He's like, "Bro, slow down. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, there's no way you just
Dude, I'm
said
doing
that.
20 miles an hour.
No, we were in a parking space.
Do you watch Bob's Burgers?
A little bit.
Did you ever see the episode where she's like in the parking lot and there's no one else in the parking lot, but she drives directly into the only other car in the parking lot?
I know. that would be me. That would
right.
literally be him.
That's
Or
him
a friend
smoking
Fiore.
weed. Yeah. It's so funny.
I got to hit you with a random one. We're going to go, like, let's say we're all going out to dinner on the island.
Yeah.
The restaurant is
Oh.
your choice.
Oh.
Where are we going?
I'm going to sound like such a dick. Peter Luger's.
Oh, it's you can't miss.
That was a basic answer.
Yeah, I've given you two basic bitch answers.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm
come
a
on.
Long
Be
Island.
better.
Okay. No.
Peter Luger's, you can't miss with that.
No, I'm sorry. That is like they're just like the what is it? What do we get? Is it the rib steak for two? They have like 5 things on the menu. And we can't even think of what it's called. Yeah. Like yeah.
Oh, you gotta be.
We gas up the place. Oh my God. The last time we must have gassed the place up. The guy was like, it's cash only. And we were like, we know.
Yeah, we got you. It's so funny. I feel like when I walk into restaurants, everyone starts looking. But like you would think it smells so good in the restaurant, they wouldn't smell the weed.
No.
But
I've
it
learned
just-
the hard way.
It trumps everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I smell weed everywhere now.
It's better than smelling the cigarette butts everywhere.
Oh, of course. I mean,
yeah, but it's
nothing's
not
worse
like
than
I
that.
think cigarettes are not as strong as weed. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like you might smell like cigarettes, but like the person next to you would smell you, but like not like the person in the next room. Like we walk in and everyone's like, like,
Hello.
I'm sorry.
Before Franco hits you with one more question, I had a random thought that hit me on the way here. And I thought it was a kind of a creative question off of something that we've had multiple conversations about, the infamous red flag. Not in a partner,
Okay.
but not in a social partner. I want to know, what is your biggest red flag when it comes to a business partner or associate?
Ooh. Oh. Actually, this is interesting. Something I've learned kind of recently. The right business partner will support your business the right way. So if you sell tickets, they will buy a ticket. If you sell a product, they might buy a product. Someone who wants to work with you also wants to work with you as a business, supports the business the way it is. So, and I've learned that a lot, because sometimes, like, especially in like there are collabs and free things that come from and that will make money. I mean, like, what's up? But like, and that's when there's a lot of different pieces that will benefit one another. So that's in itself a business transaction. But I don't know, we've just learned that like people who want to be a good business partner will learn your business the way that it was kind of intended, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So if like, I don't know, we're in a little bit of like the influencer age too. So like this is where I get a little like oh my God, I shouldn't say this.
Say it.
No.
That means
But,
you should.
But like, like there's a lot of like people will throw around the word collab a lot for free work. And I'm not like, I'm learning when like what's the like ratio on that. And I think people need to kind of understand their worths too, because I think I've learned a lot of other people who've kind of fallen into this, like they do things for free for people, and like because they turn it into something and then it just kind of ends up nothing, and they spent all this time and whatever. So I just think that a lot of that time, the people who really want something from you will support you doing it. Does that make sense?
No,
Absolutely.
me and Franco see that every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
And it's very apparent. I love to see it, but it is something that you wouldn't learn if you didn't take the risk and jump into what what it is that you're doing. So
Yeah.
The Kusa Collective is unbelievable, and we wish you guys the
Thank
absolute
you.
best luck moving forward. But I got one more before we leave you. One person.
You keep going.
One person you could sit down to dinner with, ask any questions to that they have to answer, dead or alive. Who would it be?
Ooh, I know you. I should have known this answer.
And don't take them to Peter Luger's.
No. So where should I take them?
Yeah, where would you
you
go?
tell
Oh,
me.
he's gonna
Yeah.
pick. Can I say it for you?
Yeah.
I know where he's
Don't
going.
say it. No, okay, say it.
He's going to Two Spring, and
Well, no. That's not the one I had in mind. I love Two Spring. I do love Two Spring. Two Spring in Oyster Bay. Great food. It's a very eclectic menu. Franco loves when I say that.
Rare 650.
No, not Rare 650. I'll never go there again. But Farm Italy in Huntington, I just love it.
Oh.
Sometimes it's hard to get a reservation. Lately, what I've been doing is I just stand at the bar and I'll eat at the bar. As soon as the seat opens up, I swoop in, and that's it.
Bar seats are great.
Bar seats are great.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of bar seats. That's
And
good.
I can't forget my part of my top three. I feel like I never bring them up enough on this show. Vittorio's in Amityville. If you've never been there, it's a small, dark Italian steakhouse. The food is fantastic. I never had a bad time there.
Oh.
I send everybody there. So
Ooh.
Two Spring, Farm Italy, Vittorio's. Those are my top.
And like I usually like disagree with him. It's a great top three. It really is.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna have to try it.
But we got to hear that.
You gotta
okay,
give
my
us your answer.
My answer. Okay, I know this sounds it sounds so basic all the way through, but it would probably be Rihanna. I would love to have her in here. That's like always been we would just relate on things. Both smoke weed, both have kids, both got hand tattoos.
I'm a huge ASAP Rocky fan.
Oh yeah,
Huge
me too. Yeah,
ASAP Rocky fan.
yeah,
ASAP Mob. You get all them in here. It's game over.
yeah. Right. I mean, I just think that like there's a lot of things that like vibe that we like. She's also obviously multi-billion-dollar fashion company, but also in fashion. So and like I'd love to do a fashion show in here. That's like I absolutely like right there would be the runway. Right there would be the dressing room. You could get the photos of all the looks. You could get the photos of like lifestyle photos, runway photos. Like so, yeah. So you know, if you got a plug to Rihanna, let's do a fashion show.
I mean, you guys are absolutely killing
A fashion show that you can smoke weed at.
Oh God, that would be all time. I mean, this space is like the old style New York, like
yeah,
to the T.
yeah.
Like I wish they made buildings like this still. Like all the new buildings that they put up are just huge rectangular, like square corners. That's it, shiny. I'm like, that's so fucking boring. Like I want like the gargoyles on them. I want some action.
Great
man.
show.
Yeah,
Gargoyles?
Yeah, come on.
Talk about old cartoon shows. I mean, Gargoyles was fantastic.
Oh, I didn't see it.
What?
I'm
A
sorry.
TV show. I'm pretty sure it was Disney too.
No, I
The
didn't see that
statues
one.
on the buildings.
Gargoyles was
Gargoyles. That was a fire
Damn.
show, right?
I'm surprised you were allowed to watch that.
It was on like 3:30 when we got home from school.
Wait,
It wasn't
now
past my bedtime.
I'm gonna watch it later on Disney.
Gargoyles is great.
I got to figure out where to find that now. Actually, I'm gonna watch that myself.
Disney Plus.
it's gotta
Disney
be.
Plus?
Yeah,
Yeah.
to be Rob's over
Wow,
Rob's over
Rob.
like, I was watching that
Got
before.
it right now.
Wow, the creepy guy with the mustache told us what the cartoon channel is on. Wow. But Leona, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
This
Thank
has
you
been
guys.
awesome.
You guys have been
Yeah, this
awesome. No, thank
this
you.
is amazing.
Yeah.
This was so much fun. Beautiful space.
I
Awesome.
appreciate it.
I love
And
everything about
seriously,
this spot.
check out Kusa Collective. It's unbelievable what they're doing and what they're bringing to you. You know, just
To the people.
To the people.
to the people.
To the people, for the people. And who are we? We're the Oven Podcast. Keep sharing the show. Spank that subscribe button on YouTube. And don't forget, there's always an open seat for you at the Oven.
Yes, sir.
Keep it cooking in the oven.